Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be explaining 13 movement techniques that every Apex Legends player should know. These tips, tricks, and techniques I guarantee will make your gameplay seem smoother and movement better. I have included a way to increase momentum when slide jumping, strafing while in the air, and how to make quick directional changes. Also, every single technique will be possible on PC as well as controller, so that truly everyone can do them. The first technique on the list is a way to break your fall and skip the stun animation that comes with it. As you probably know, when you fall from a certain height, you get stunned for a few seconds, which leaves you immobile and easy to hit. To avoid the animation, all you have to do is melee a surrounding object before you hit the ground and you can run as normal. It's not always possible to have an object at the bottom of your fall, but if you think about where you're jumping before you launch, you can usually use the trick and get away from someone chasing you. The next movement technique is called a Jitter Slide, or a double slide. It looks really odd but works very well. To do it, you slide and then keep spamming slide again and again. In game, this has several different uses. First of which is when an enemy is directly in front of you. You can extend your slide at them. Sliding at them in this way makes your hitbox super weird and makes you harder to hit. In addition, you keep the same movement speed as sprinting so you're not losing momentum. Another important thing to note is that sliding keeps your gun up and ready. When you are running normally, there is a small time between when you press the button to shoot your gun and when it actually fires. Your character has to go through the animation of raising your gun before you can fire. On the other hand, when you slide, your gun is already up and ready to shoot. That makes this trick useful for when you're chasing someone on low HP and need to fire at a moment's notice. Between keeping your gun at the ready and making your hitbox smaller, all while keeping the same movement speed as sprinting, I honestly don't know why more people don't use the Jitter Slide. One of my goals for this video is to only include relatively simple, slept-on techniques that I thought people would like to know. The third movement tech in this video is a Wallbounce, which kind of goes against one of my rules because almost everyone knows about it. I decided to include it anyway to remind people to be incorporating it into your everyday gameplay. Wall bouncing around the map will make you a harder target to hit and will also make your game feel more fluid, which is something players often overlook. Another reason I included wall bouncing in the video is so that if a new player watches it, they will know about it. I'm not going to explain how to wall bounce in this video, but I will link a video that you can watch after finishing this one on how to. If anyone watching this knows Fayde, then you'll know he has insane movement, but also seems to be moving faster than the average player. He can accelerate from a stopped position almost immediately. One of the keys for his fast movement speed and quick accelerations is a trick he uses. What Fayde does is he holsters his weapon around slide jumps. This gives a speed boost in two ways. The first is that you have more momentum going into the jump because running with your weapon holstered is faster, and he also pulls his weapon out again at the end of the slide. Unholstering your weapon in the air gives you another slight momentum boost. The two combined makes for a faster slide jump, and using it in fights will make you a faster player. Another useful thing to realize is that like the Jitter Slide trick, Fayde Slide has your weapon up and ready to shoot. Say you're chasing someone out of a fight, they're low HP and run around a corner. You holster your weapon into the slide and come flying around the corner. In the air, you can pull out your gun and be ready to fire. Fayde is not the only player to do this. Most good players do, and I recommend going into the firing range and getting the timing of your slide jumps coupled with holstering and unholstering your weapon down. It will help your movement and gameplay look faster. The next section of the video is zipline tricks and techniques. The most basic zipline trick that everyone needs to know is the zipline Superjump. To do this trick, walk up to a zipline and press your button to interact and then immediately jump off. It is important that you jump as soon as you get on the zipline. It's also important to notice that you can super jump on both vertical ziplines and horizontal ones. The next trick is an application for the zipline Superjump. Like the very first trick I showed, you can use ziplines to get out of being fall stunned. If you super jump before you hit the ground, not only can you not get stunned, it also gives you momentum in the direction you want to go. Another zipline technique to use is zip swinging. As you go up a vertical zipline, all you do is swing left to right. This throws your body around and makes your path way less predictable than going up in a straight line. At the very least, just use this every time you take a jump tower or vertical zipline. The last and most challenging zipline technique is called zip zagging. It is the technique where you do multiple super jumps around the zipline. To do it, start by doing a zipline super jump on a vertical zipline. Instantly after, turn back around and do another super jump, and so on. The only catch is that on a freestanding zipline, you can only chain 3 together. The technique used to be much more prominent, but then the devs decided to set a limit on how many times you can chain. Also, zip zagging is much more challenging on controller, but as long as you don't play on an extremely low sensitivity, I can confirm it is possible. This trick is most useful in elevator shafts, for example the one in Streamer Building in Capital City. For one thing, you won't go flying off the zipline if you mess up, because there's a wall to stop you, and also when you hit the wall, it resets the 3 jumps that you have on the zipline so you can chain for longer. Another thing is that it's way harder to hit you, and in between jumps you can take shots. This is more of an advanced trick, but if you can get down zip swinging and also shooting in between swings, then you can get shots on your opponent while being almost unhittable. The next section in this video is on air strafing. Air strafing is a simple yet extremely useful technique that allows you to change direction mid-air. As you are in the air, you can shift directions by still looking straight forward but also pressing a directional key. This gives a left or right motion depending on which input you press. I encourage you to be working in an air strafe to every slide jump that you do. If you want a more noticeable strafing effect, you can slowly turn your camera in the direction you want to go. This is particularly useful for longer periods of airtime, like going off of Octane's jump pad. Just make sure that you are still pressing a directional key and slowly turning. The next trick is one that both Asu and Lyric showed in their movement guides. It is a momentum shift, useful mostly for quickly getting around corners or quick directional changes. To do it, start by running at the wall or corner you want to turn around. Do a slide jump just before the corner, and as you are in the air, turn your back so it is facing the direction you want to go. As you are doing that, you should stop pressing your forward movement bind and only be pressing your backwards input. Backing around the corner is the way you maintain the most momentum. You are also all set up for when the enemy comes around the corner, because you will be facing their direction, and they will not be expecting you to be standing there looking at them. This trick can also be used to create space between you and your opponent while still keeping eyes on them the entire time. Another trick that allows you to gain easy momentum is edge sliding. Edge sliding is where you slide off of a little edge or the end of a surface. It gives you easy momentum going in the direction you would like to go. What most people don't know is that you can also edge slide backwards. It works in the same exact way, except the momentum gained is backwards. This is more useful than the forward version, just because edge sliding is one of the only ways you can get enough momentum to slide backwards. So if someone is shooting at you, or need to get your gun reloaded, and notice there's an edge or slight downhill behind you, that is prime time to edge slide. Also, edge sliding gives more velocity and speed when moving around the map. My next technique is the cleanest way to get over walls and other ledges faster. When you climb a wall, there is an animation where your character has to hoist themselves over the wall. This animation is obviously slow and easy to be shot in. To get around the animation, you can use a Wallbounce off of the same wall you are trying to get over. There are several ways to get over the wall depending on the way that you are approaching it. If you are approaching the wall straight on, do a slide jump at the wall and do a wall bounce off of the wall. As you are in the air from the wall bounce, turn and look sideways while pressing the directional input to get you over the wall. At the end, you can turn back around to face the direction you are going. It may sound complicated, but with a little time in the firing range, you can get it down. If you are running parallel to the wall and want to get over it, then you have to do the trick in a different way. As always, start the trick by doing a slide jump into a wall bounce. The difference is, when you do the wall bounce, the only key you want to press is the one to get you over the wall. So, to say that in a different way, press the input that moves you in the direction of the wall. This will shift your momentum closer to the wall, and then at the end, if you're not going to make it over, you can turn your camera. The last situation you can use this trick is to get over a wall that has another object next to it. It is often another wall, fence, or building. All you have to do in this situation is bounce off of one of the walls over the other. This is by far the easiest one to pull off in a game because it is just a normal wall bounce. So for everyone that stayed until the end, I saved my favorite trick for last, the static wall bounce. A static wall bounce is a wall bounce that you can do with very little momentum. The mechanics are the same as a normal wall bounce, except to engage it, you don't do a slide jump, just a normal one. Then at the end, you can also add a slide when you hit the ground using the momentum you have from the wall bounce. What makes this trick special is in how many situations it's useful. If you are in a gunfight and your opponent needs to reload or you need to reload, then you can pull off a little static wall jump. It makes you super hard to hit and gives you momentum from staying still. Honestly, just any time that you're fighting someone, it works and is useful. Also, it can be used to pop out from a corner or behind cover quickly. That was all my movement tips and tricks for PC and controller players. I hoped you learned something new, and if you did, please like and subscribe. If you didn't learn something new, or want to learn more advanced movement, I made an advanced movement guide that I suggest you watch. Thank you for watching.